back. Wherever we left off last is where we're going to start now. This is our general pickup for the Fab Diaries because I run these things long, and Joey's got to put a stopper on these things or else they'd be 3 hours, and a lot of you guys probably don't have that kind of timeline, and we just got to break these things up, so enjoy.
Solid weather today. Gonna go for a ride with Logan on Sunday just for a little bit, get the hero dirt. Do you know why they call it hero dirt? I don't. And the only way I can think, or the only thing I would think that it's called is because it makes you ride like a hero because you get so much grip. And it's probably complete bullshit. And I don't call it hero dirt loosely. That's not for me. All right, so it's 4 feet. 4 feet, what that's gonna look like for us here. So that's 4 feet. That's gonna float something. And I was thinking too, I can always tack this piece on, and then I can Cleco the extra remnants on. And I think a couple good silicone bronze tacks on here will hold it. You ask why am I doing silicone bronze? Because silicone bronze doesn't really penetrate as much. It kind of just lays onto the material. So when I go to sand it, it's not something where I like undercut or a possibility where I have to like fluff and buff the tube. It's kind of just taking the surface, whatever I piled up on the tube as a welding rod instead of it maybe cavitating in or something. So anyways, I know I'm not going to need more than probably 8 inches. All right, so let's do an 8 by 48. Thick, that thing is thick, boy. Why does this? It's rusting. It is heavy. I'm gonna see if it's magnetic because it looks like titanium. And I know I had some titanium in there. All right. And I have like remnants of titanium sheet. But the way that this is coated, it just looks different. It's so weird. I'm like, okay, I'll check it because titanium's not magnetic. And then in my brain, because I worked with titanium for a little bit, but not enough to know a shit about it. And they're like, where is my brain pulling knowledge that titanium is not magnetic? So I just wanted to check. Well, this is some good looking steel, whatever it is. Some pretty looking stuff. I've noticed that some shitty, like China style stainless, like hardware and stuff, is still magnetic, which is funny to me. Kind of wondering which side of the car we want to be on. I don't want to be in Luke's way, so he's over there. I kind of like working in this little wormhole over here. Look at that thing. Sick, dude. Sick, dude. Sick, dude. Sick, dude. Sick, dude. I was talking to my buddy Cameron yesterday. He's talking about gratitude and kind of life right now and the work, the amount of work that has to be done and stuff. And he's like, it's crazy. It's like you're sentenced to, it's like the best kind of sentencing. You're sentenced to being stuck on your property building all these cars, and it's cool because they're all like these epic builds that I'm proud of. That I get to see come to life. Smoked out tungsten on both ends. Yikers. Got my little box of horrors here. Spare tungstens. Get this going. I don't have a really good way to hold this up right now. I might do something just kind of hood rat to get it going, instead of spending a bunch of time trying to figure that out. I do need to grab some silicone bronze rod. Don't think there's any localized here, is there? Not much to get wrong or right here. More or less just get a tack at this point. Hey, Mr. Luke, can you give me a hand? Tacks. I think I'm gonna hold it. Here's silicone bronze. So I'm only gonna, the part that's not rolled. Wherever you wanna do a couple just to hold this thing, I'm good on. I think I'm actually gonna shoot your way. You good? You're good. Perfect. Thank you. Cool. Okay. Looking like it's a little low. What do you think, 87? No, don't do that. Do the other way. Oh, I'm saying 3 degrees, so I'll take 87, 2.6. Okay. So that I will keep level. Okay, this is the start. That's crude, huh? I'm gonna juice these a little more, just to get established. So we're at 1.5. That's the variable that I'm gonna wanna make sure I get by. Okay. Cool. It's at 0.5 right now. So I'm gonna keep it going. What I mean by that, I have this tray, well, this shelf here. I'm probably gonna wanna extend it a little bit. So I'm gonna put another piece over here. I think I'm gonna be able to get a tack over here because it's gonna get a little floppy dick. The back is doing kind of the same thing. I might be able to just get another, piece going in here. It doesn't have to be perfectly conforming to this because this is not what we're aiming for. What we're doing is we're gonna wanna put a profile into this area. And then that's where this can go. And then that's where the bottom is gonna be able to go. It's already, even looking at it right now, pretty dang, not a lot of footprint to get out far. But that's also showing that's below there, and it's not a lot of that dark gray, that value there, to get out of here. You just got to think, though, if we're going out far, this is going to be pretty steep, pretty aggressive. It's going to give us a shelf. And the other thing to think, too, is not really into having a straight line there. This line is kind of going past and dipping down. So I'm going to at least start getting a profile, a top profile like this, and then see where that takes us. It's cool to see Caleb in training. Both the boys are in training. Luke's in training, Caleb's in training, but Caleb got some pretty big shoes to fill. They both do. But Alex Frisioni was our our finisher before. Alex was the guy that I trusted the trucks to leave and be solid and not have issues and be put together and not fall apart. And trusted my life and the client's life with him having his hands on stuff last. And so that's kind of what we're gearing up for Caleb to do. Already looking like something though. How supportive is this? Ooh, okay. Do we want to trim a little bit on this stuff to like make it a little formed to the car? Or we just want to do it super rude? I think we got to put a little into it. All right. That's that one. Going crazy guesstimator on this. Okay. See if I can't go get these with the shears. The other thing we want to think about, not necessarily right now, is going to be the crawl space, getting in and out of the car. Dan's a bigger dude. What's with all these Dans being bigger guys? And we don't want to make the window opening because you have to think too, we got a roof to do. And the roof is going to be, take up some of the real estate below the chassis. So I want to make sure that I don't build the belt line too high. I have to call the scrap guy pretty soon here. I'll just get this one close. That's pretty good, dude. All right. Does it get any better, or are we just gonna get the whatever out of that thing? Yeah, we're gonna get the whatever out of it. How's this one going? It's not bad either. I'll prep the tube a little bit. That's probably gonna give us all the information we need once we get that on there, and we can do a big old fat layout. Oh, I want to use this so bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, let's get this going. This is pretty cool. A little shelf action here. I also have to trust these drawings because we're going to do some pretty bold moves with the shapes. They're a good reference. Again, they're a good reference. Doesn't mean that they're exactly to scale. Drill some free run holes here. I was saying is, I was thinking about this one, and I don't know if it was in my sleep or if it's just like while I'm not working on it. but about how to do this, because that curve really gave it some rigidity. Cool. We got that third hole the same. Now, okay. Not bad. Gotta get a prep going on the tube back here though. I know it kind of seems like a lot of setup, but for repeatability for the other side, this makes a lot of sense to me. Again, it is my first time doing this, so I'm doing what I think I can to do it good, and to do it on the other side, not float stuff. I did take the easy road because I knew Luke was right there to be able to hold this stuff for me. And I have to go Cleco ripping it. It almost looks better like this. Ooh, okay. That's pretty decent. Oh, now you go back to happy, huh? That'd be a bummer to step on. There's probably 200 Clecos in there. Cool, let's just leave it like this. Fuck it. All right, now I can do some stuff with a straight edge. Get some answers here. I'm gonna wanna draw, start drawing shape into this thing. And then we have a whole nother profile to add to the top. So that was like doing this, right? Pretty much turn it like this. And that was the A-pillar almost right here. Oh, starting right here. And something happened there. Shit. That's gonna fucking rip, dude. Alright, so probably up here is what we want. That's where our straight's gonna wanna be. Ooh, that's big. Doesn't need to be that much. Not as much drama as you'd think. I can hear that JMR tube bender over there. Mr. McKenzie. Holy moly. I'm using this piece as a reference for the blade. The blade is going to be that shapely part that comes out from the car. Our air cutter. And it's going to matter how it's shaped in here. Just thinking about how that wants to land on the sheet metal down here. It's got a little bit of forgiveness there, but pretty much whatever shape is down here almost has to come up and land somewhere up here, or else we're gonna be twisted the F out. Sick, twisted, brother. Sick and twisted. Actually, it's pretty clean over there. So I can mark it in here. Kind of mark across and just see what we got as far as stick out. Yeah. What are we doing? We're measuring under here. So this guy's gonna be 3.5 in. These are just crude measurements. 5 1/4. 5 1/4 in from here. Just let me see what we're working with. So if that's what that blade wants, how do we make that happen? So this is what I'm thinking about, is that part right there, because if we have something that's a very different angle from this, that's doing this or, doing that, then that blade is going to have some kind of twist into it. And I'd much rather it be just one prominent shape. So the one thing we can do is we can still retain some of that shape, but we can just go outwards, right? So that's what this is doing. This is going outwards. And I think there's enough information here that's going to let me kind of build off that and draw this out. The other thing is, right, we're trying to get this where this thing is going into the back of the car. Now, something I would love to do that I didn't is draw this whole shape out and build it completely with the shocks off. Be so streamlined. It'd be undeniable how intact that would be. But what's going on is there's a jog in the chassis, meaning there's a straight here, and then it jogs, and then it goes crank, and there's a bend right here to kind of clear the shocks, but there's a crank, and then it comes back out, and it just goes against design principles, where it gets really tight at the shocks, and then it boop, pops out, back out. And so that's gonna lend us to a shortage of real estate, because honestly I'd rather start over here and draw this whole shape through all sick. And I think we can get something like that. Yeah, I might just pull the shock off, because when we go to build that back part, that's going to be its own thing back there. I don't want to waste my yellow tape right now. I have really nice, my 1/2 inch tape. So I'm just kind of get one of these going. The radius is big enough where I don't have to stress it too much. But I can already see we're sticking out a ton, so we don't even need all that. Gnarly, dude. Okay, so it doesn't need as much as I thought. Pico intersection. Do you have that just go abrupt right there? Is that does that turn straight? How do you get away from it being looking like a fucking Krieger egg? I want some kind of streamline into this thing. It's hard to not just end up being in some crazy radius. So I want to try to get something really good here. And tape sometimes is your most malleable tool to start getting the shape you want. And I don't know if I started that with Art Center, but it's really helpful. Sick of standing on you and you making all that noise down there, dude. Now we get right here, and that's where our blade comes into part. How do we correct for the blade without doing something abrupt? Like, what does this thing look like? Is it super gnarly like this, or does it want to be tighter? I want the sexiness of it, where it's not just a big body car. And doing that Clarke has been pretty interesting over there. Do a little revision here. When you're doing this stuff, you don't want to have constraints. Even if the piece ends up being small, you want to be able to start with something large and work your way down into what feels right to you. And see, this is what the tape lets, like, I can just sit here and run this as many times as I need to till I get it just right. But see this guy? He's already being one of those guys. So I have to go out here. And then I'm going to have to look at this from a couple different angles. See what we're working with. I'm interested in doing, well, I'd love to build a sand car from the ground up. So if you know someone that wants to build one, I'm thinking about using the same machine parts from the Range Rover as the suspension. So billet arms, billet uprights, billet trailing arms, and then building a chassis. Well, that's, I don't think it's reinventing the wheel. It'd just be something beautiful. Or something with our styling into it. How do we take ownership of that blade area where this isn't just a fucking egg, dude? Because it looks like an egg. I don't want all that. Don't want an egg. So let's say this starts here. Pure. Now, how do we get this thing going fast? Where's the clipping point to where we start moving fast? Is that where your directional change is? Are you going to do it right there? Because if it's going to be right there, you're going to start something different here. You got to mark that as your spot. That's going to be a hard edge. Or you go all the way through. No matter what, you're not going to get that much of a roll right there. Let's just say this is what this is. Okay, that's what that wants right there. Now where do you go from there? Did you get it? You get it? Where's that go back here? That go to right there? Yeah, that goes to right there. Better. Directional change at the blade though. So right here. Directional change. Now it's going to be another directional change right here. How much more do we need to rip on this thing now? A lot of body out of there. I want to cut it and just see. I feel confident cutting this right now. Yeah. I don't think I want to see any more of a radius than that. You can see what's happening. So once it gets over to the blade area that I marked on here, there's a kind of a shape change. Dirt, dirt, dirt. It's not aggressive, but it is a shape change. I don't know if that's going to shoot us in the foot at the end, but I think just running all this off right now, just to see where we're at, is going to be best. Something else to think about here. How far are we building this piece out? Because I might have to keep going on this, but this has to be a separate entity. And I don't know if I should just build the hood portion all as one and then make cut lines, but there needs to be an overlap for it to seat up. So that's stuff I'm thinking about right now. There's a good opportunity for that now. The other thing we don't have is the windshield. So this having mass right here, we're gonna be able to build some extra stuff into here. And I wonder if I even start like, yeah, it's starting pretty early to come back. So that's starting to pull in earlier than being right out here. And I'm okay with that. That's gonna be clean. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna put a couple more Clecos in here along the cut line, just to hold it. And then I'm gonna get this. I don't know if my shears are gonna go through both pieces, so I might just have to come in here with a cutoff wheel and buzz off the double layers. thing, if I didn't already express it, is I didn't want to, I was starting to get a bowed thing. And I know there's some bow down here. These are going to be two different shapes pretty much, and I want the mass to be up towards this front blade, and then I want it to drop back, but I don't want it to just be super curved. You know, there's so much radius in here that we want to make sure we still have, like, see, this is a pretty streamlined shape. So we want to make sure we still get that, and I think we're going to. Part of me wants to try to just chomp through both those plates. So I'm gonna call it quits on that because I could feel it was cutting, but it felt like it was straining, and like I said, I don't want to damage my blades. Couple things we want here, but I think what I need the most get all the debris out of here. So two things we want to do here. We want to fill in the shape. You guys see okay? Very cool. That is some wide-angled looking shit, huh? So we're going to want to do all this and see how dramatic that is, because you know, that's one thing, and then also the blade. I want to just put something in here and look at it and see, you know, first and foremost what we got going on here. I think I'm going to make it bigger, so I have more of a window of design. To tune it back down. I always start bigger. Running low on chipboard. Looks like there's about 60 sheets yet. 60 sheets left. And that's one rack. You know, we usually have about 4 stacks of that stuff. So if it gets to that point, I like to make sure we order more. Just the feeling of running on a chipboard gets tricky. That's still pretty hard to understand as far as if we've built out too far. This is going to be a game of small adjustments too. So already, my answer is yes, we built out too far. Up she goes. Yeah, so that's too much angle. I'm gonna have to just do another hit. So what I'll probably end up doing, I don't think we're losing on this move here. So I'm gonna retain that, but it's gonna have to, I'm gonna keep the end. And I'm just gonna go in, and maybe what I can do right now is just set this in, you know, the blade inboard to where I think it would look good. And then we go from there. Yeah, it's just a little too much bowed out. It's those little adjustments that seem to make the difference, always. You gotta do it just till they feel right. That's an inch. All right, 1.25 inches is the tape, so that's the work. More Clecos. I can already feel it. This is better. I'm gonna try not to be irritated with my yellow 1/2 inch wide tape roll. And I wouldn't even be irritated if we had more of it. But I think that's the last roll. And it's a specialty brand, so I have to actually have the roll to order more. I'm just gonna do it today. Screwed up. Oh, I think it's better already. A little bit of a wobble, I see it. Nope. Is that too straight? It kind of is. Cutoff wheels. Smells like cigarettes or something. Something going on right here. What are you doing out here? Now what? Leave it a little longer, because that's what the drawing wants. So keep this going a little longer. And then just stay in what you got. All right. It's gonna be a refined edge. Probably just cut off wheel. Wow, that's a lot tighter. Liking that a lot more, actually. That's making a lot more sense. Let's put that blade on. Got a little bit of a bow to it, and I don't know how we're going to get that. That whole piece itself is really going to probably involve some work, because it has to be dimensional. It can't be that flat bullshit. That feels a lot better. Okay. I'm going to start chunking in template into that bottom area. This whole area all through here. So we can see what kind of grade it's going to have. It's going to get pretty steep back here versus over here. So it's going to change. I was thinking maybe you guys could listen to the audio with me while I do these templates.
Stop in to see the new Trailblazer with a larger 11-inch infotainment screen.
Isn't that the best?
Then there's our performance vehicles, the Chevy Camaro and Corvette, which have both won lots of awards, with the crown jewel being the Corvette E-Ray, boasting up to 655 combined horsepower.
Still feels like a pretty large shape. Too big. It's too big. Cut it again. Yeah, let's do this again. It is what it is. You're right. Yeah, we started with a lot, huh? All right, round 3 or 4. Don't have too much meat on the bone here. Okay, so right off the bat, this thing's almost parallel, which is a much more appropriate move for this. It doesn't look dramatic. So now the tester is going to be adding, the template for that bottom shape and seeing what we get. I'll probably just rip the whole thing, see where we get. But I know that this feels comfortable. That does not feel bad.
Man, some of the Joe Rogan stuff is good. I just don't find interest in a lot of shit anymore. Listen to Andy Frisella, I listen to some Ed Milet, Bedros. I was listening to junk. I just don't care anymore. I used to listen to Fighter and the Kid. But it's just all, I don't know. Just don't find much value anymore. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I just don't like how blady this one is. It's kind of what we signed up for, though. Back to music, huh? I might build this car or do this project to just one single song. I'm not gonna tell you guys though. It's crazy how off-put I am by them missing tape roll. I just ordered a bunch more and I did my best to get what I think would be the same. But just knowing that I don't have that tape roll because it is so important to me. My brain, dude. Is that a good view or you want something different? I'm in that mode right now of pushing into the nighttime. It always gets a little lax where you want to just kind of stop and you gotta just break through it. Just notch around the tubes. Super rough just so it slips into the car. That's like a lot of me wants to just like, all right, dinner time. Okay, check out. But I'm committed to this. I told myself I'm gonna break off. I don't think my work is done for a bit. I think I got a little lackadaisical. I work to get where I'm at, but it's not over. And I think I need to do 5 years of heavy work, and then to the point of sacrificing some time in life with my family to get where I need to be. To get my family where we need to be. And so that's kind of what I started in 2026. Less output and more input as far as investing into like social media and stuff. Just put my head down and just grind. And so far, so good. The other commitment was investing in YouTube. So that's where I'm at. There's something that has to happen here. So I'll just do this for now. But this isn't it. We're not going to run this straight fucking thing right here. And I see it on the drawing, and the only way I can figure out how to do it is to get this information first. Go from there. I don't like that. Shit. That ain't it. Got to do something different here. So, just thinking what we want to do. Because that don't look right. It's too angled. It wants to be steep and lower. I'm gonna chew on this for a bit.
It's probably been an hour. We're going to split this episode up. This is going to be the general thing you're going to see every time, because when I film these things, I don't know when to stop. I don't know how long they're going to take. So thank you for watching the Fab Diaries. We'll continue where we left off here next time.